let me do that now.
Mm-hmm. You had to stop the music when you did that?
No, I'm just restarting.
Nah. Yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl. To my front, I have my man at Just Lex. Together we form.
Carl and Just Lex.
I was gonna say we're Decepticons. Yo, I watched that movie the other day. It's not bad.
What movie?
The new Transformers. I bootlegged it. It was a little crazy though because I
don't even know what you're talking about.
They've got the bootlegs down on lock right now in regards to wait, you don't know there's a new Transformers movie that came out.
I probably missed the past few.
I forgot that but I got a website now.
I don't even think I watched the Mark Wahlberg ones.
I illegally downloaded it though. That's my thing.
I think I jumped off the ship with Shia LaBeouf.
That's the pronunciation of his name?
Nah, that's what I call him.
Okay, I just want to make sure. But they have a new one. So anyway, the bootlegs is different now though. Like the ads pop up during the movie. Like I was like, oh, y'all playing with me right now. And so it'd be like, oh, slots. If you want to play, download the game.
Like in the middle of the screen?
In the middle of the fucking screen, and then it goes away. Like hell nah. But I powered through it. Can't get mad at free. What's up, man? What's new?
I'm just worried about what you're doing to my phone.
I'm just at the notes because they're not on here. Okay. There was a thing that kept popping up, and I was like, oh, okay, I know what happened now. She didn't put her password in. Yeah.
I mean, I'm chilling.
Yeah. All right. You look like you're chilled.
That's hate too.
That's not. Why do I? Because
you're warm.
But I feel great. You see, I got circulation in here. Look, I looked at one YouTube video because I was like, yo, heat wave coming. I was like, I have not been able to get this down the right way. You know what? Fuck it. Lex ran us into it. Look, for those of you guys that aren't blessed with a air conditioning system, right? This fool has two. I got two. In the last two houses that he's had air conditioning, and the disrespect for it to be 93 outside and people come over to his house and it's 82 inside the house. It's fucking crazy.
Without running the air.
And for him, that's like, oh, I'm 10 degrees under. That's the way he looks at it, right? That's foul, man. Like get us to 78 in there, bro. But he, with that being said, I learned that if you open a window, right, well, preferably one of the larger windows in your house where the sun is not hitting it, and you take a fan, doesn't matter the size, big or small, bigger ones, obviously will bring a bit more airflow. If you point that fan at the window and open another window, it creates airflow. And so your house accumulates air in. So I read a bunch of, and I thought they were BSing, right? I'm like, oh, no way. But there's a guy on YouTube, only video I found. And he has like I don't know, I'm going to call it an aerometer. But you can use a sheet too. The sheet tells you everything, like if you have a sheet in front of your window or something. But he was showing like how the different wind speeds were coming into his house based on the size fan he was using in there. But the point is he got air coming in. So people in the comments were like, yeah, we don't turn on our AC until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon because our house stays at like 77, 78 because it got down to 72 because we're swapping out cool air for hot air like when in the evening time. So you got to cool your house down at night when it's cooler, right? And then close all the windows and stuff like that once you get it to, a solid temperature. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty dope.
It ain't even that hot yet.
It's getting there. It's hot enough right now where I can't do nothing about it if I make a mistake. If I make a mistake, leave a window open, don't have it dark in the house, it's over with. All the old school tricks. I lived in Fresno, so it's like, a few times we had AC not working. And you had to figure it out. But it's hard to get 4 dudes on the same page. Either way, so Lex is chilling. I'm good. Got some baseball stuff going on later today when it cools off a little bit. Other than that, been going to a lot of like parties and outdoorsy shit, man, which is cool. It feels good, right? That's why I'm not complaining about the heat because I remember how much it rained, and I've been trying to remember like how shitty that was not to be able to go outside and do things.
Yeah, been a good tanning week. Took the kids to the pool yesterday. Been so long since I actually took people to the pool that I forgot towels.
Oh shit, the whole nine.
But it was warm enough to walk home.
Oh, okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. So,
you still need it?
Yeah, I do, but it's all good. Off the top of my head, I can remember certain things. That's the messed up part about not having that. So anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get straight to it then, man. This week in hip hop. Go ahead, hit my hand claps, dog.
Oh, you back for that smoke?
I'm gonna allow you to explain yourself.
I don't remember what the fuck. You gotta bring it up.
Well, basically, on Friday, I'm minding my business. I'm going down to Taco Machine on Bonita Road. They got some of the best tacos in Dago. You know, made my order. I was like, oh, well, let me sit down real quick, see what I missed. You know, look at my notification alerts, check my group chats. I got some group chats on silent, so I was like, oh, no, I got time. I can click it, you know. I see in there that Nelly has no classics. That's what I see, right? I don't even need to scroll up anymore, right? The blasphemy without even consideration, right? Nelly has no classics. I'm like, whoa. What about Country Grammar? It's not a classic. I said, oh, why not? Like, sold 10 million copies. I knew it was ridiculous. I didn't know the number off my head, but I was like, I know it was something crazy. So I went and searched it up, 10 million copies, sure enough. Now, I will preface this by saying, because Lex will say this at the same time too, right? There's 4 singles on the album, right? One of them that doesn't have a star next to it in the app, which would have been Batter Up, but that was a single. They did a music video for it and everything. It was a big deal. But there's 4 singles on the album. You have EI, Country Grammar, Batter Up, and then there's Ride With Me, right? Those are the 4 that are on there. And the debate is that Nelly, this isn't a classic album, but that it had really good singles on it. My questions for Lex were, hey, name me an album with 4 legitimate singles on them, right? And some pretty solid mid songs on there that's a classic. Like another one that has that. Or just name me an album with four singles that hit. Like that just doesn't happen anymore, right? And even though maybe I would agree that there is maybe about 4 or 5 songs on the album that I could do without, right? That could be said about a lot of albums, right? They didn't like my take, and the reason why you heard me singing Patiently Waiting and all that is that I could deal with, and I'm talking about Get Rich or Die Trying. There's a few songs on Get Rich or Die Trying that I can do without. There's a few songs on Good Kid, Mad City that I could do without. So not every album's going to have every single song that's going to be great, right? So I wanted to know, what is a classic? A classic isn't determined by a certain criteria. It's a cultural thing. Mm-hmm. And culturally, Nelly moved the needle during that time with that album. And so, and my other argument is that album came out 25 years ago, now that I think about it, right? That's a long time, damn near 25, almost 25. 4 or 5 years ago, Nelly came out to San Diego and he sold out a club and people were in there singing his songs. And I was like, this isn't even this generation's music, right? But it's a mix of my generation in here and the newer generation that know the songs in here. And I think that is relevant. The album passes the test of time test for my eyes because there's no other gauge other than me being there. Now, if I look at Ja Rule and like some of his albums, right, he ain't got no classics, right? And if I look at like him trying to sing his songs at the Milwaukee Bucks game, ain't nobody feeling that shit, Sharif.
It's crazy.
I know. But he
Let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm just waiting on you. I want to fire you up, and you're fired. Look at the burn.
I was letting you.
You were chilling earlier. He's not chilled anymore.
No, because you're such a fucking.
Your face is red.
You're so contradictory.
Am I?
Yeah, because one.
Oh my god.
True Carl fashion.
Hey, I couldn't get this type of emotion out of him like during text. Like he's an in-person guy.
No, the funny part is because we had a whole episode talking about classic shit a long time ago. No, because True Carl fashion, first thing you go to is numbers, and album sales don't mean shit about classic.
You.
No, I'm talking because you
anybody
said,
that brings that shit up,
and then I brought up the fact that it took a whole 12 years for Illmatic to go platinum one time. And I don't think anybody would argue that that's not a classic album.
But I know, but like when you... All right, go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. I ain't going to cut you off because I know the Lexites, they be like, yo, let him finish.
The Lexites? Now we go do better than that one.
Yeah, this is your group.
But anyway, you jump straight to numbers and I go, okay, whatever. Like, album sales, cool. You can have... Nelly has classic singles. doesn't mean it's a classic album. Yeah, that album sold 10 million because of those 4 really big singles
on one album.
And then I brought up the fact that was the case, is Vanilla's Ice album classic?
Was there 4 singles on there?
It sold 10 million
with 4 singles on there.
Doesn't matter.
I'm asking because that's what I'm saying. Like that's
because you're talking about 10 million.
To the body of work. Keep going. My
bad. Does 10 million matter?
I didn't want to stop here. I want you to keep getting
the fact that it sold 10 million with one big single is probably more. That doesn't
impressive. Make it a classic.
Neither does 4.
4 is a big deal, bro.
Man.
And the way you're talking is like the rest of the album is like completely mid. I'm not saying it's not a big deal.
And I also said I wasn't going to die on the hill that Country Grammar wasn't a classic. I said it was probably closer to the fence.
But now you still
argue. But I don't think it. Yeah, I'm going to argue it because I still believe it.
You still argue it.
And the fact that you brought that up and then you bring up Ja Rule, which further proves my point, because I think more people would say Ja Rule has one classic album than they would say Nelly. I think people put that Pain is Love or Rule 3, whichever one that is.
Pain is Love would be the one that you're talking about.
More people will be the one, because Ja Rule.
There's only about 2 singles on that one.
Ja Rule is the same, is this counterpart for Nelly. The one who I think should have did the verses together are them two. Because they're in the same lane of we have really big singles, and the album just kind of whatever.
I'm not arguing any other album for Nelly.
I'm not saying
I'm only arguing this one at Country Grammar.
But that's the funny part is because Nellyville sold more than Country Grammar.
And the crazy part is too is
and
that
had bigger singles.
As a hip hop enthusiast, and this is what I was telling you, right? Like you and Mark may look at Dog Pound as a classic, right? But if I ask Debo, if I ask my wife or whatever, if we even ask your wife or whatever, I don't think that they would throw Dog Pound in there as a classic album as something, because
yes,
like I don't know. I don't know if they would do that. I'm sure that she would throw some mid-level Cole album as a classic, right? But what I'm saying is that like you're saying that as someone who is a consumer of that. So if there's a classic, right, and we're not going by the numbers and we're just going off of feel and what we actually like, then you're putting yourself in a box and everyone else in a box, and I'm okay with that box, which is this is the music that I prefer to listen to.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's a classic.
It has to be really based on. That's why I said you need a criteria, and the numbers, right? 10 million is a big deal. If there was anything else, that's culturally moving. I don't even know if there's 10 million casual rap fans like in the market right now.
Culturally moving isn't that's maybe part of it. That's why I said it's probably on the fence. I'm not saying it's just it had really big songs and there's nothing else to it. I'm going to argue against it being a classic for how I feel about classics. Yeah, it being a big deal matters. That is one of my criteria. It checks that box. Okay. It just doesn't check a few boxes. It might be close, but it doesn't check a few boxes.
How close are we talking, though? I don't like these words.
On the fence.
So it's sitting on top of the fence. It could jump over if it needed to.
I think, and
But are you familiar with the album?
I disagree with the whole. I wasn't a Nelly fan at the time. I liked Ride With Me.
There we go.
I love Batter Up. I thought Murphy Lee was next.
I did too.
Man.
he was the best one out of them all.
And I was shouting that shit from the mountaintop.
I can tell you the name, Keywan and Murphy Lee. City Slug.
Man, I was shouting that shit from the mountaintop. And then Murphy Lee dropped the album where I was like, wow, it's not often when the single is the best song on the album. He came out to Dago maybe 10 years ago too at Petco.
Murphy Lee?
No, Nelly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I disagree with the fact that you think Ja Rule couldn't come out here and do the same thing that Nelly just did.
I don't think so.
Because I think he's done it.
I don't think so.
He's been here.
I don't think people ran and said, "Oh, Ja Rule's here tonight."
But I'm pretty sure he sold out the same venue, if not a bigger one.
I'm
not a Ja Rule fan, man, but you're not going to sit here and
disrespect. The forced defense is crazy. I'm like, why are we arguing Ja Rule?
Because you're sitting there acting like Ja Rule and Nelly aren't the same type of artists.
They are the same type of artists, but I just feel that Country Grammar shits on Pain is Love. I had the Pain is Love.
That's fine. And Nelly's sold... He sold more albums at a certain time, but it's like when
and
it comes to their
as a whole had a
when their
Ja Rule, I would put a notch above Nelly. Murder Inc. was the
you just disrespecting Nelly now.
No, but I'm saying like Murder Inc. as a whole, right? You add Ashanti in them, they remind me of like TDEs and like the my man down south, and they on their decline right now.
My man down south.
Q. Quality Control Music. There we go. They remind me of those. Like they had runs, or even what was I Can Make Your Bed Rock. Somebody gonna kill me for not knowing that. Yeah, Young Money, man. There we go. Look, I got a little bar in here that I'm gonna get off.
It's a label. So it reminds you of TDE because Murder Inc. was a label?
It was a label, but they had a solid run for a little bit.
Okay, Ja Rule and Ashanti had a solid run.
All right, that's them. They're not a group. They're part of Murder Inc. Like,
right. But
if I argue like TDE or whatever, there's not too many guys that's that really popular. It's like you have Kendrick, and then Absol is for the enthusiasts. You know what I mean?
Stop looking at me when you say that word.
I have nowhere else to look at. Hey, when you say, hold on, let me tell you this joke. On the way back from Palm Springs, it's funny you said that. The way back from Palm Springs, my dad kept looking at my mom in the back seat of the car, right? And she was, trying to watch a movie on her tablet. She didn't want to be bothered, right? She's like, Thorpe, stop looking at me. He's like, well, you want me to look at somebody else? He was like, would you rather me look at somebody else? That was the most wittiest comeback he had ever had in his life. Stop looking at me. I don't want to get to that level of petty where my spouse can't even look at me. He said, you want me to look at somebody else? But we was in the car too. That's crazy. Anyway, I honestly feel like yeah, the Country Grammar album, even though we're naming those four, there's solid pieces of work on there outside of that.
This whole argument actually started because you did jump in and said, I don't need to
start with Busta Rhymes.
No, the question posed was, who has had the most successful career rap-wise without a classic album?
And we agreed on Jadakiss.
And the initial response that everybody went to was Ludacris. And I was like, yeah, because sometimes it's hard for me to judge my personal classics with the actual classic. But
Chicken and Beer can be argued as well.
It can't.
If I had to make a case,
Luda is brought up to the fact where he has a whole bunch of on the fences and they're consistent. But I don't think anybody said, damn, that shit was classic. He had big singles. He sold well. All the Carl criteria.
I get it.
And then so that's when I was like, oh, that's when I brought up Nelly. Because I think Nelly is a bigger artist than Ludacris.
You don't like the South like that, right? And
don't do that.
And it's apparent, right? You're not a Lil Wayne fan. You don't like Nelly. You don't like Ludacris.
No,
right?
I love Ludacris. I go to bat.
And I think the only reason why you fuck with Jeezy is because, of his ties with my man up in Detroit. You know what I mean?
No.
That's the only thing that makes sense right now.
No.
But Lex doesn't do that. And I'm about to get...
You ain't about to just...
We're not going to skirt past that.
I love Ludacris. I love
Well,
Ludacris.
Okay, so then to be able to influence your love for Luda, right? If Luda came in and said, hey, Lex Esquire, I need you to defend, my case of me having a classic album. Which ones would you? Over Chicken and Beer?
Yes.
All right. Not Release Therapy?
Some people might argue that too, just because it won the Grammy, but he didn't deserve that shit that year.
One of my favorites. So get back to the bars.
It's not a bad album.
It's not a bad album.
But he's consistent and he's right there all the time. It's just there's that little oomph, that intangible that is kind of hard to explain, what really makes something classic. He had big songs. He sold well every time. There's something else that's not there.
And we're saying this as West Coast people. Like, I imagine that people in the South would say Luda did a lot for Atlanta and put us on the map. That's a classic album.
That doesn't mean that it's a classic.
It doesn't mean that you're
shit
right.
Can be true.
But you have bias based on where you live at.
But that's the thing. At
where
the time,
you live at and the music that you like and you consider to be classic.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to sit. If someone said, hey, trap music is a classic, I'm going to agree, whether I'm a fan or not. And to be clear, I am a fan, but there's albums that are deemed classic that I don't necessarily rock with. Like if it was Pain of Love or Rule 336 or whichever one people that were saying that, if they say that, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm there with it. I don't really like the album. I don't like all classic albums, but it is what it is.
I guess like for me to believe what you're saying right now, I need to see more examples from you of you saying like, oh, I like what's a non-classic album?
Well, that was where I see the whole thing with Busta Rhymes was like, oh, that's another.
But again, that's like outside of his singles, that's not something that people would venture off to. Busta Rhymes makes very good club party music. You know what I mean? Like for like when he wants to get in that bag, he will get you a nice little anthem, right? And so I feel like the base that would listen to that would be women who, in my opinion, don't listen to hip hop albums at the same frequency as men, so it's hard to gauge that.
Who you think buys them all?
What?
Women.
Albums?
Yes.
Nah, I don't believe that. Where you get these numbers from? I'm asking you where you get it from.
I'm saying,
I hate when he dismissed that shit.
Why do you think the labels say, "Hey, you need to make a girl song, you need to make a club song"?
Because because the same way that we said that, like, you can get a 99-cent ringtone because singles sell.
Who's buying the girl song?
I'm saying whole albums.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
but I'm saying
I ain't never met a chick unless she was like a Rhapsody fan that told me like, oh yeah, what is that Extinction Level event, whatever the fuck that shit.
Because you being young right now,
I'm not. Bro,
you being a streaming
I was around
baby.
him.
I'm talking to you,
and I got questions for him.
I'm
based
telling
on this
you,
later
the
on.
label said go make a girl song, go make a club song, because back then you had to buy the album to get that song. Yeah, you could go buy the single, but at the same time, who's going to buy it?
I don't know, man.
I'm not going to buy it.
I don't think so. I don't
buy
think
the album
Busta
for
was
the
selling
album.
like that.
Busta was sold. He's consistent.
I don't think he was selling like that. Where the way you was like, oh, they were going out in waves. I'm adding a dub to what you're saying. But they.
We're talking about who's the most successful artist to not have a classic album.
Right.
Busta is on the list.
Jadakiss is on the list too.
Jadakiss is on,
and he has some pretty good songs where like they were also club joints. But I feel like women were buying the female albums that he was listed on with like those type of artists.
But I'm saying he did the song with Mariah Carey because women are going to.
And what album was that on?
You talking about Jada?
Yes, with
Kiss
the
of
song.
Death.
It was on that one.
It was on that. That's my personal
And I ain't never
favorite.
heard no woman say like, "Oh, that the rest of Kiss to Death was fire."
I love Kiss to Death.
But
it's a personal.
But you're not a
classic
woman
me.
unless you're not telling me something. Pride Day was yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah, they was out there thick, boy. Because the traffic to get to the Bay, because that's where we was at yesterday, was crazy. Anyway, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I know that this is gonna be a point of contention to whoever is listening. They gonna send us some messages. And I'm going to get some shit for whatever. But today, as of fucking 10:08 a.m. on this Sunday morning, I don't believe that to be true until I get the facts in front of me. And that's all right. Because I need the facts. I don't need you dismissing me on legitimate questions that I have.
What legitimate question did I dismiss?
I'm trying to figure out what women went in groves to buy a Jadakiss and Busta Rhymes album, and you're telling me like that's the only way that they were able to get music like illegal download and didn't exist during this time.
Okay, but I'm saying, who is the
number one consumer of this type of music that you're listening to is a male age 18 to 35 at that time.
If you go to rap shows, it's mostly white. When
white women or white men?
White men.
All right.
When you go to the show. But actually buying that, yeah, we're stealing the album. We're doing that. Women are going to buy, yeah, it might not happen as much anymore. It might not have happened a whole lot because those albums that we talked about didn't sell, they didn't go diamond. But what I'm saying is women, they're the ones who are consuming the actual album purchases. It's not a bunch of people like me that's going to buy it anyway. Or the men that are buying it off the strength of the street single or whatever single that led them to or the fact that they just fuck with the artist no matter what. But there's a reason that labels go, you can't come out unless you have a big single. Because what is a big single going to do? It's going to run through the club or it's going to get the girls' attention. That's it.
I think we talking about the wrong women. That's all. I'll let you get your shit off, but I didn't agree with it.
You don't have to agree, man.
It's all good. Hit my hand claps, dog. Then pass me the or announce it. Random shit to fill in time. You choose one you like. Go ahead. Go to notes. I already pulled it up for you. Go to random shit to fill in time. Why are you sick of me? Yo, yeah, that deep sigh is nasty.
No, we ain't doing that first one.
No, I don't know what's on there.
Worst food to eat too much of.
All right, so what do you think are the worst foods? Random shit to fill in time. So some of the things that I had on there, right? I remember this, right?
This is wild.
It is wild, but think about it.
This is random, though.
It is random, and that's the greatest thing. So some of the worst foods that we enjoy eating, but like if you have too much of it, you lose enjoyment of it fast. Sunflower seeds, like the regular Davids that they sell at snack bars for like little league games and football games. Like after the 10th seed,
you want to hear something real nasty?
You want to drink some water? Let's hear it.
I'm so lazy when it comes to sunflower seeds that I eat the whole shell. It might be the whitest thing about me. Dog, that ain't gonna hurt coming out.
Juvenile. Kids do that shit when they don't know how to crack them open.
It started then. I just never. Now, to be fair, I don't really be on sunflower seeds like that. But.
This dude is an African elephant. I seen the elephant eating a whole banana. They didn't even peel the shit.
I don't expecting an elephant to peel bananas kind of crazy.
I know, but just feeding it to him though like that is kind of crazy too. Like, bro, he's not in the wild. He's obviously in captivity. You can help him out now. Let him get straight to the center, fam. Elephant teeth. This isn't like fun facts, but elephants, like their teeth are all molars.
Yeah.
So you could just save him a lot of work.
I'm pretty sure he can get through the banana.
I'm sure he can too, but bro, like I'm thinking of the two stems.
I'm thinking it's just as enjoyable.
Chewing
for him.
The stem is crazy.
Getting that extra nutrients that the skin offers.
So is chewing the skin of a sunflower seed. That shit is crazy too. Your throat hates it. Fam, that's crazy.
Yeah, that shit do be getting stuck up, man.
When's the last time you had sunflower seeds?
Probably years ago.
Okay, cool. Because no one offer him that because he shouldn't have to go through this. Or you need to get the already cracked bag.
Yeah, but it's cheaper by seed to do the work yourself.
By seed is crazy.
Same thing with pistachios. Yeah, it'd be nice to not have to peel them all, but
wait,
no, it's only sunflower seeds.
That's a tougher shell. I was like, yo. Then I start thinking of like, the ones you have, the nutcracker. What are those nuts you got to put in there? Almonds, pecans.
No, almonds.
Pecans like
chestnuts and shit.
Yeah. You chewing those? You crazy, dog?
No, I'm not big on nuts. Just gonna leave that one right there.
Leave it right there, man. That's cool. Another one I had was cheesecake.
That's all you.
Yeah, it's a headache thing. I don't eat cheesecake either for that reason, because when I was young, we had a Thanksgiving dinner one day at my cousin's house. She bought cheesecake. I ate about 3 or 4 pieces and had the meanest headache that I've ever had before, and that's when I learned about like what sugar really can do to your body. And so they had cheesecake at the Bay yesterday for my my wife, and all of her friends got together, and I just left it there. Like it could stay there. Another one on there, salt and vinegar chips. After a few bites, burning the tongue, baby. Burning the tongue. And I'll throw Lay's on there too. Lay's, my daughter eats Lay's. I don't know how she does. I know why she does it, because she be here.
Too.
You see the barbecue Lay's in here, and the classic Lay's
I don't fuck with barbecue chips.
Yeah. For real?
Nah.
Why not?
I'll take the classic all day.
Oh, you bugging. What's some foods for you? I was throwing them off the top. I'm trying to inspire you.
Salt and vinegar chips. That's a newer acquired taste for me. I wasn't really big on that.
Crunch Valleys. I need water with those. You can't.
Anything that makes the mouth dry, I guess.
Them Green Valley or whatever. Them Green
Nature Valleys.
Yeah, Nature Valleys, man. You can't just eat those without any juice or water. I catch myself swinging after every bite, bro. Just to ease it. Get on down the road. Get that shit down there.
I don't know.
Did you see that, The Wiz?
Have I seen it, or did I see that it came to?
Have you seen The Wiz, like the actual Wiz?
Yes.
All right. You trying to test me on my blackness the other day. I wanted to make sure that you did. Take his black card. Nelly's a classic is crazy.
You tested me on my black card. It's funny, though.
It is, because
because it don't matter.
Nah, because you champion that, right? You have half black.
Don't do that. You're going to get cease in the bind.
Man, struggle is fire. Like, you hit the
You get cease asking questions again.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Man, I don't fucking know. I guess anything that's too sweet, it's probably gonna fit that category.
Captain Crunch?
Nah, fucks with Captain Crunch.
You know what? But now we know the roof of your mouth is strong as shit, though.
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, he about to bring the seeds back.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey,
you just got
people's personal shit is funny as fuck, though. Like to hear human behavior, I love it.
Yeah, Crunch Berry's that's the GOAT cereal right there. I got that over Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Go ahead, pull up my next topic. We not gonna die here. I want to argue that, but you crazy.
I understand I might be in the.
There was something else that you brought up that was part of your whiteness, man, the other day. I cannot remember.
It happens every now and then.
Yeah, man. And it shocks me. I'd be real.
Wait a minute.
I'd be real offended. Like,
thought I was colorblind, but
thought you was with us. It's like scoring on the wrong basket.
I'm gonna need you to remember that because now I'm interested in what I said.
And what? Yeah, I can't remember what you were talking about.
Another random thing to fill in time.
Yes, sir.
Pickup lines you have used in the past to gain a woman's attention. That's easy for me.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't do that.
What do you mean?
What's
the opening line of a conversation?
I'm a slow burn.
I know that, but
But it's not a pickup line.
Not even really a pickup line, but like,
how are you?
Okay, conversation starter. Like what what is your go-to of like?
Did you know a pig's orgasm lasts 30 minutes? I hit him with a Snapple fact.
He going to jail. Guess who's going to jail, man? That man. So you hit him? You start coming up. You get into your random facts like off rip. Like not even the name.
I can't even really,
bro. Okay,
I can't even really say that.
All right, I got a better way to asking this question. Have you ever dated a girl that you didn't know?
Wait, what?
Have you ever dated a girl that you didn't know before? Like went out on a date with them, right? Or like,
okay, like I didn't get to know before.
Yeah, like not on some like, hey, like what you doing or whatever, like tonight. Like you know that person already, right? So like randoms. Like what could you say that like was your bag to open up conversation with a random woman?
Yeah, oh man, I'm kind of a.
I'm interested in this, right?
I am too, because I don't know. If
I don't even think you go out your way to meet males. Like not that's your bag or nothing like that.
Look, man.
But I don't think you go unless like someone has. You might be right. Like people actually have to engage you in conversation to really get to know you. And what they don't know is that once you get him going, he's gonna stay going.
Right. So that's the thing. It's like, hey, I might be like shy and reserved. And then, like, I gotta get in. Once I get in there, I can maneuver and I'll figure it out from there.
Even your Portland story involves those guys reaching out to you first. Because at that point in time, you didn't want to be bothered. But you know what I mean? But you was like, you know what? Since we're here. What
are you doing here, man?
But see, and that's why, like, that goes also your personality, too. Because I don't see you asking random people for help either.
No.
Yeah. Damn.
Nah, but no, I tried to talk to people coming down the mountain. Like, hey, how much longer to the top? I'm not scared to talk to people. I'm not scared to talk to women. I just didn't do it. And we can get into daddy issues or mommy issues or wherever it's seated.
Wherever you want to go.
Wherever it comes from, it just didn't have. It was like, nah, like I'm the friend approach or I do well in group settings. So group settings where there's girls around, I know I'm gonna be able to get a couple jokes off or whatever.
So then you're thinking we talked about this before though.
Laughing, yeah.
So your thing is if you laugh at my jokes, that's part of my introduction of like. But then so break. You tell your joke, she laughs.
Feel a little tug on the line.
You feel a little tug on the line, right?
Then I slow burn it.
What is your go-to to break that ice? You broke the ice with the joke,
yes.
Right? Now, what is your go-to to engage that person rather? Right? Like, so for example, I agree with you, right? My experiences are a little different from yours because you were in a committed relationship for a good portion of your 20s, if not all of it, right? So with that being said is I would tell a joke to a woman, like say if we were out at a club or a bar or something, they laugh, and then I'd be like, so what brings you out here today?
There you go.
Something simple as that. Or if I look at their clothes or whatever, be like, oh, did you just get off of work? Because that look like office attire.
What are those?
That sounds crazy, but it sounds crazy, right? And I was saying this because I was talking to, I was overhearing somebody talk like on a show or something like that, like them having a hard time with approaching women. And I was like, yo, like it's not difficult. There's some women that I know that like, let me preface this. There are some women and men like that I know that I just can't have a casual conversation with, me personally, based on their aesthetics. Like I don't want to hear what you gonna talk about anyway. You know what I mean? Like if your face looked like it took a few hours for you to get done, that means that we probably don't give a shit about the same things, and we're not gonna have any commonalities. That's just me, right? That's my bias. I talk to a lot of people in my life. We're gonna get into the stat on that later on because Lonzo had me going in the group chat, and I went down the rabbit hole on some shit. But like to break that conversation, yeah, I'll tell a joke or whatever, and then I'll just ask something simple. Like it
That's all you gotta do.
Simplicity is just beautiful in that. Like if I'm in a different state or whatever, like when I used to go to Vegas or whatever, I'm like, so what y'all doing out here in Vegas? They could be there for a birthday party, bachelor party, like being out there because they foreign or something like that, or just because it's a getaway, and you can go ahead and streamline off of that whole conversation.
Being in a different state though, you can afford to get in the little trick bags and just try some shit.
Have you ever been somebody different?
Huh?
Have you ever?
Yeah, 100%.
Huh? It's crazy. Look, when men do shit to me that like they do on women, like, and they believe the huh, like I didn't believe it. The huh means like, fam, tell the story. Who were you? San Diego State basketball team right here.
No, well, I think I mentioned this on here when we were 18 in Vegas. We couldn't do a whole bunch, but we did go to the strip club and we were walk-ons at UNLV.
To do that in the strip club is crazy. They gonna come talk to you regardless.
Yeah, but there's different levels of like engagement when you're at a strip club.
It's depending on who you are.
If I'm a walk-on, she might understand. You know, maybe I don't have to throw as much.
She won't know the small high school I went to beforehand.
And but yeah, so I think being simple is important because especially women, they're so used to like just the big nasties and just straight to the points. It's kind of refreshing to be like, oh, how are you doing today?
Right.
So they're like, wait a minute.
They only want the niceness for so long.
No, for sure.
Right? That sounds crazy, right? And some people be like, oh, no. But nah, sometimes like if you meet women that are a little bit more rough around the edges or have a little bit more masculine qualities or whatever, there's only so much you're going to get off with like the crying at sunsets and shit like that. At some point, you're going to have to switch gears. Reminds me of Elliot with the devil. What was the name of that movie, man? And he cried at... I can't remember, but don't worry about it.
But laughter always works.
There we go. Started with a B. When you said but, it but anyway, you're right. Laughter always works. And
so being the nice... Like, you don't have to... Like, I'm like, oh, I'm being too much of a nice guy or too, you know... Yeah, go through the myriad of your personality. I got a little sensitive here. I'm always here for the jokes. Might throw a little, street element in there.
Where's the balance in your personality? Right? Like who? Like outside of the
question for my therapist.
I'll tell you, 160, baby. Like right, these sessions is fire.
No, I had a new therapist last week. She was fire.
She was just like a. You didn't leave with that today? Jesus Christ.
Nah, well, shit, man. She don't accept insurance. That's out of pocket.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why she knows her worth.
I told her, I was like, "Fuck, I might have to come back."
Every 2 months.
I was like, "Man, we actually negotiating."
You can't use your flex spending money on that.
I can, but I also use it on other shit.
The thing is, you don't ever have money left over in your flex spending at the end of the year?
This is the first year I'm doing it for the medical stuff. But the thing is, that, I like to go weekly. I can't. She'll drain my account in 6 months if I go weekly with those prices.
But at that point, like knowing your life and all the things going on,
don't you think that's a good investment?
I'm saying like once a month, she's got plenty to sort through with you. Yeah. 12 sessions, you probably get a lot done.
I got a lot done in one.
All right. Did she challenge you?
She she challenged me. I learned, I like to think that I try to get in other people's shoes and different perspectives, but she threw something at me where I was like, oh, you know what? That makes perfect sense. And I won't go into detail about
it was that good. It was that good then. It was that good. Hey, cause I'd be trying to get through to him, but whatever I say, it'll be working.
Because you say shit like
that's where it is, right there. Like because I said something one time.
No, you say shit all the time.
It discredits everything after that.
It don't discredit stuff. What was it like a few weeks ago? I kicked it here for a few hours afterwards, and it was like, no, you be saying real shit. It's just
my demeanor. You go ahead. We circle right back to that every time.
It's not the demeanor.
It's him.
I take all advice into consideration.
It's him.
I listen to advice. It's not. I don't discount none of it. Mm-hmm. It's just you ain't never told me nothing that wasn't like not real
already. But but I told you we keep getting back to delivery and demeanor.
No, it's not.
Yeah, absolutely,
you delivered it just fine.
Because you know what's funny is like in this setting that's perfect, right? But like because you guys are my friends and we've been friends for years. other people, how they like approach me is not in the same way that you approach me. And you would probably say the same like at work, right? How people approach me at work or whatever. Yeah, they know I'm a cool, funny dude or whatever, but they probably learn a lot more about me when they listen to these podcasts. Side note, something really crazy happened to me. And it's funny how I draw back on things, how we have conversation. I go to a deli during the week, and we'll come back to your therapy experience, right? But I go to a deli near my job. There's a girl in there that I used to work with. She works for like a different organization or something, but you know where I'm at, we partner with people all the time. So I ain't seen her in about 5 or 6 years. I want to be careful on how I state this story.
Still got that dump truck in the back?
No. It's not even on that type of level, man. I just want to be careful because she's like, hey, how's the podcast going? Right? I said, podcast is going good. You know, she's like, I don't listen that often. She was like, but I still check him out every once in a while. And I didn't think she was lying after she started saying a few statements. At first, I was like, oh, she bullshitting. You're in front of me right now, but I don't know who listens. And she's like, you had a baby. Your wife's name's Adele. Your kid's name start with a K, you know? And I'm like, yo, that's kind of crazy. You know, like you're throwing a collection of a lot of episodes together. But to be fair, I was like, yo, what's going on with you? Like, how's everything going in your life? She brushed that off so fast to continue to talk about what's going on. Me, same old shit. I'm not doing nothing. But
But let me tell you about this take you had.
And she is white, right? And I was like, yo, like you don't do anything? Like you don't play pickleball or something? She said, what, play pickleball because I'm white? I was like, no, Jimmy Butler plays pickleball and tennis. Like people,
he has a lot of white tendencies.
Relax, man. I'm trying. Look, you're not helping me.
He was raised by white parents.
She's listening right now. And so that shit was just crazy to me, like how that all like came about. But it was just weird too at the same time because it's like, yo, we talk about so much of our personal lives and stuff like that on here that when people start where we left off with you and me in a conversation, it's like, I'm not used to talking to you about this. When I have these pods, you're just gaining an experience of me talking to my friend of what we would have talked about off mic.
And we got, you know, and there's like a bunch of people who we're going to have a conversation and you know all this about me. I have no idea who the fuck you are.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you right now.
But,
and we're not even big like that. It's not like we like crazy big. It's just that it's off-putting to me, right? To have these type of conversations with someone I wouldn't necessarily deep dive into with. Like the way I view pods and how you guys look at it, somebody may look at it, well, they come on here and they give it up or whatever. No, we're just normalizing. We don't need, yeah, we really don't.
Really don't.
But we're just normalizing having these type of conversations with people.
We gonna stop being pussy one day.
Absolutely. And we probably go to the top then. Wouldn't have to do some extreme shit like post crazy videos all the time. And I've noticed that. Like I refuse to sell my soul and post crazy shit to be able to get listens and stuff like that. It's just not for me. Now it may be needed, yeah, but I need to give people food for thought. Anyway, back to
if we have any crossover listeners with Jonah, I love the fact when he sent me a screenshot of someone texting him like, yo, what the fuck is he talking?
Yeah, his listeners are way different from ours. They get straight to the point.
I have DMs too. I will respond.
They don't feel like it's safe, but they give it up to Jonah. Yeah, they gave it up about me too. You know, I told you about the chair thing or whatever, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I wasn't tripping. I keep bringing it up as if like I was hurt by it, but I wasn't.
You was.
No, I wasn't.
The only thing
it was a weird critique that I haven't heard.
Yeah, so in the morning I'm gonna hit him because I said the only thing I really cared about is if my episode did more listens than yours.
I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? It depends. You was in there talking some wild shit, saying your son reminds you of a dictator.
I did.
Did I bleep it? Huh? Did I bleep it? I don't think so. I haven't bleeped in a while. I've been letting them rock. Everything that's needed on there needs to be there.
No, it was just it was crazy. She got straight to the shits without like a meet and greet because I'm like, oh, this first one, and it was kind of like she was interviewing for a position. She was like,
you talking about your therapist?
Yeah, she was like, you know, I gotta, you know. I gotta give it up. In a way, I gotta give it up quick because I don't know if you coming back.
In a way, not in the sexual way, but it aroused you. Like, hey, this is what I've been waiting for, like type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, keep going.
And I told her my struggles, and I'm like, hey, man, she didn't say self-care one time. And I was like, thank God. We getting somewhere.
Hey, fucked you up when you hung up. I'm like, I need to see her again.
Damn, you sure you can't just hit sharp? Just get in the network just for quick. A little bit? But yeah, I mean, if she ends up being that good, then maybe I wouldn't need her weekly, and I can just kind of get my shit off when I need to. But
and that's dependent upon you.
Yeah, it seems like I always need something.
Nah, who knows though? You might get a few more.
But that
is she older?
Not that much older, but it's hard to tell.
She's black?
Nah.
Oh.
Like I don't know. Like
that silence. That silence was me reserving a lot of comments.
No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Just reserving a lot of comments.
It's hard to tell with almost anybody nowadays because you got the whole like, damn, you look my age, but you black, so you probably like 62.
Yeah.
And then white people.
Dude told me the other day they thought my dad was They said that my dad looks young. I said that's crazy, and I was like, it's probably how he dressed though. Like he wear above the knee shorts and shit like that.
That hit the bike, but and then you got some of our Asian brethren. They look 22, and then one day they wake up and they 82, and you just don't know when that's gonna happen.
Oh man,
then,
Doug still looks youthful. His hairline is starting to deceive you a little bit, though, right? Like that's the part that's getting him.
Yeah, the hairline beast.
But I think with them, it's like it's a skin thing, like how their skin reacts to the sun, how much you're outside. Because beards will usually tell you, and Asian men, for the ones that I've seen, majority of them don't have full beards that come in, so you don't see gray patches and stuff like that. You actually don't even see a lot of silver hair for them that early too, though, I would say. I got some coming in.
Genetics.
Absolutely.
Hit
my hand claps and you read them and weep.
Making me work and shit.
Now, I don't know. If this was Jonah Pod, I don't know how long we could have gone freestyling like that. We went topic through topic, but I was like, running out of shit to say right now. Go ahead. Read them and weep.
I'm never out of shit. Oh, hey, tell me about your therapist.
All right.
Nah, I ain't never had a shit to say. Oh, you found this when your phone was dying.
I found it this morning. My phone was on the charger.
All right. My daughter Casey is getting married this winter.
Wait a minute. Why we always look at somebody's battery percentage when we see a phone? I be doing that to you when you hand me that. That should be on low power mode. I was like, yeah, I see why.
I should be on low power mode even at 98%.
That's what I'm saying. That shit funny as hell. I be judging people off of them not charging their phone. Like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You only got 15%. Keep going, man.
Yeah, man, ain't that popular.
That's funny.
My daughter Casey is getting married this winter to her fiance Max, 27, who she has been together with for about 4 years. I am covering the majority of the wedding expenses as Max's family lives in a different country, and with the currency exchange rate, they won't be able to afford the wedding and both to come to the wedding. Woo, there is no commas in that sentence. I have no issues with it, and I just want my little girl to be happy. Last week, while Casey was away, my children, Alex and Tom, came to visit with their families, and they were talking about wedding invitations. I was surprised to hear that they haven't received their wedding invitations, so I thought that Casey haven't sent them out yet for everyone, until my oldest and youngest daughters pointed out that they have received their invitations with their kids and partners invited. Man, these fucking commas and periods, dog. Mm-hmm. I called my sister.
Welcome to the pain.
Who also said Casey has invited their whole family to the wedding too, and she received hers a while back. So I immediately saw red. Both Alex and Tom have husbands and have children adopted, and it seemed Casey, why does that matter, has excluded them because of their choices. It also seemed weird because Casey has always been close to them and supported them while they came out as non-binary and gay respectively. I have called Casey and demanded an explanation. My daughter said that Max and his family don't feel comfortable with couples that are not traditional, and it goes against their culture, and she hopes for my understanding. I have told her if that's the case, I will not be walking her down the aisle and pull out from paying for her wedding, as she cannot exclude her family like this when they did nothing wrong, and if her future in-laws' opinion is so important to her, they can pay for the wedding. As a result, Casey has called me an asshole and hung up on me crying. My children are on my side. My wife is torn as she understands where Casey comes from, but agrees she shouldn't have excluded her siblings like that.
Is she in the wrong?
She in the wrong.
Or is he in the wrong? My fault. Now, when I look at this, right, I look at it from this perspective. If it's my money, It's my rules. Even if you are my daughter.
Fair enough.
Even if you're an adult, 20 years old.
100%.
If you want my money, it's my rules. So when I look at it from that perspective, that shit crazy. I told you. That's how it be. Anyway, you come in here just messing up all the feng shui, man. That shit funny as hell.
Fuck this over here.
He said the fuck wrong with her. Oh man, that's funny. Oh,
he's touching some shit.
You see doors be getting slammed, shit. That funny as hell. I told you come in like that.
Yeah.
You know how like animals come into like they habitat, like something misplaced. Anyway, but if it's my money, right, then I should feel that way. The other way that I look at it is like this. The other way that I look at it is like this. Shit crazy.
His body language. Let me just grab this beer right now.
Oh man. But the way I look at it is like this. If it's my money, it's my choice, right? And even then, what is so important about your in-laws, you know, to where you are, they can't afford to help you anywhere, right? Don't mess up your money. Right? If I'm paying for everything, I know you can get a whole little book and just start writing down like behavioral things. It's shit crazy. But, you know, like what's so important about your in-laws, bro, that you don't want to disown your own family? Like if that's the case, what I would also question is she probably got some problems with her with her siblings and their life choices.
Oh man.
But what's the point?
He's reorganizing the whole fridge. I don't know why. That doesn't look necessary.
It look fine, you know what I mean?
I agree with you, man. In principle, like, yeah, it's fucked up. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if you paying for it, I kind of got to roll with it.
Now, here's a question that I'd ask you right now, right? Let's say if you want to, you renew your vows or you do a new wedding or some shit like that, right? And this is all like fantasy land, okay? So, because I know how you gonna respond to what I'm about to ask you, and maybe this is why you don't take me seriously, because I always say shit like this. But imagine that your mom said, "I'm gonna pay for it," right? Would you invite your brother?
Why not? He was invited the first time.
I know, but things have transpired since then till now. That
I was talking about this yesterday.
All right, there we go.
Specifically, I have no beef with my brother. We just don't speak. Has nothing to do. It's not even that deep. If he hit me up today and was like, "Yo, let's have a conversation," I'm like, cool. Here's the address. If he called me and was like, "Yo, I don't know what's going on, but this and that."
There's a level of pride here, though, because it all depends on. It is because it all depends on what he's saying.
I don't care what he's saying, but
no,
it's
but
not
I'm saying
beef.
it's not you, but it's not you initiating that conversation with him.
Yeah, because
you don't find it necessary to do so. Necessary. That's what I'm saying. So,
but that's not pride. That just means I got other shit going on. It's not that big of a deal to me. Because it's not that big of a deal to me.
It comes off that he's not that important, though.
He can still go to the wedding. I ain't got no problem with that. It's not that deep.
Did y'all have a conversation during your first wedding?
He was supposed to. He was supposed to be. He was supposed to marry us. Because he got the little certificate.
Oh, he's supposed to be ordained?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He got the little online shit.
He's not eligible for that now, though.
He's done a few weddings, and then he dropped out. Because he said he didn't have enough time, even though he knew like 8 months in advance.
But he went to the wedding.
Yeah.
But he didn't have enough time to do all the other stuff.
He wasn't like No, he didn't. I think he walked my mom down. He was supposed to marry us off. Because I was like, oh, well, you're not going to be a groomsman because I already got like 9 of them things.
Right. Keep going.
And so what are we doing? But I was like, oh, I want you to be a part of it, you know, because our other brothers are groomsmen. And it made sense because you got the little ordained thing. So why don't you just marry us off? He said, oh, I ain't really got a lot of time like that. I was like, dog, I'm writing everything.
But do you think like if you didn't invite your brother, like in this type of scenario, that your mom wouldn't go to the wedding? I ain't got no siblings, so this is why we use it. And
I think my mom would not go before my brother wouldn't. I don't know. My brother doesn't go to fucking birthday parties, so I don't know.
The other way around, like if your mom didn't go, would your brother not go?
It's 50-50 with both of them.
Now I'm gonna say this.
You're saying like, oh, if my mom was like, oh, is your brother coming? I said he's not invited. That should be like, oh, I'm not coming either. Yeah. Then? I don't think so.
She would still go.
She would sit there and try to lecture me
about like why it should happen.
Yeah, it's not a.
These are white issues, right? I can tell this is a white family, right? Like some of that shit, like I don't know, and maybe that's why we as a people we get it handed to us because we so open and accepting. Like all the gays are invited to our weddings and stuff like that, right? And everyone in the community, LGBTQ plus QIA. I don't know if there's another A in there, but
that's why I don't say it at all.
But
that one letter gonna attack you, whichever one you miss.
Hey, what about us? And during this week, they was out in droves, man. I saw some of the photos, man. I thought it was great though. It was beautiful.
You gonna find a way to say droves again?
Yeah, I said it earlier today.
The women in droves going up to buy Jadakiss.
I always got a word of the week. I don't know. I didn't look droves up either. It just came up. I gotta stop, just acquiring knowledge. But yeah, man, I mean, if it's his money, bro, cool. I mean, and you can call your dad an asshole, but you're calling him an asshole because he's not doing what you want him to specifically do with his money.
Yeah, when it comes to principles like that, if you're willing to sell that principle for some money, because that's basically what you're doing,
right?
Then so be it. How much do you really believe in this? Because it sounds like she don't really believe in it. It's just like, I'm trying to have respect for my in-laws.
I don't think she respects her own family to not stand up for him. That's what But that's what I hate.
It didn't say that she didn't. She might just be kind of, maybe she don't got that type of relationship.
But to me, if I'm with a woman and she is willing to give up her base principles or things that she's grown up with culturally, for me specifically, I start to have questions. I'm not saying that because I can't say that her fiance has that capability, but I'm starting to ask questions because if you do that shit for me, if I fall out of favor for you, I'm on the chopping block next.
Oh, I would have just took it as like, damn, my pipe game that strong.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I super analytical about that. Like I started just thinking about it like, yo, fam, that shit sound cool right now, but 10 years from now, 12 years, 15, 20, I need to know like, yo, like where you stand. Like, don't give up on that shit. And even with my wife, I always like look, I don't mess with her sister. You know what I mean? I don't mess with her older brother. They do fuck shit, in my opinion, that I don't mess with. But look, when it came down to our wedding, hey, if you want to invite them, cool. Like, I ain't got no issues. I ain't got to talk to her. You know why I don't talk to her, right? But, and you were part of the reason why she probably wouldn't go in the first place. But at the same token, it's like, look, I ain't got no issues. You know what I mean? Like, that's your shit. You know what I mean?
That's where I'm at with it all. It's like, hey, I ain't got no issues with nobody, man.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, and even then, they're only meeting, like, this girl's being overreactive because y'all only meeting for a few hours on one night. They coming from outside the country. They'll never probably see your brothers again, right? And you putting too much stock into this over losing your dad paying for it. If not, go ahead and take your ass to the Manzana Rack and get married. It ain't that serious.
That's serious, man. Let your brothers come.
Absolutely.
It's no, and if
there's no kids,
if
nobody
there's
would
anybody
know.
that thinks I have a situation with anybody else, given just whatever happens, it's not on my side.
Right.
To clear that up.
It's never
because you need to do this. And I did my piece.
Yeah, but that's partially. See, this is where I tell Adele that you guys are similar, right? And where I would say me and your wife are similar, and that's why Oil and Vinegar be doing his thing, right? But like y'all are similar because the first thing she would say, even the situation we just brought up, that ain't had nothing to do with me. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but like somebody outside would say, oh, well, that's, someone that or whatever, and therefore I'm just grouping you. Even though you may not have nothing to do with it, like someone would expect a response from you, right? So like even if you have nothing to do with what's going on between you and your brother, the fact that you won't initiate and do the same thing of what you're asking for him makes you still kind of part of the problem.
That's only if you see it as a problem. I don't see anything as a problem right now.
Touche.
It's like, yo,
he might not either. Right? He might not either.
And not to be terribly close in the first place.
But what if he spoke of you? But you would never know. But what if he spoke of you in a way
He does.
Then you're part of the problem.
I'm a part of the problem?
If he says to you, like, oh, he don't reach out to me, he won't talk to me, and you're saying the same thing, both of you guys are part of that same problem.
No, that's not a problem.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say something.
If he says it on the other side, yes.
I thought you were going to say a general statement of he talks down on me to other people. That's what I thought you were going to say. I don't know what he said.
That's in the same vein.
No, it's not. Because what you think about me is none of my business.
But how...
Just like the way my mom and how they talk about me to other people doesn't concern me. Now, I would like to think that if the other people knew me...
But if you're living rent-free in their head, it's because they would wish that there was a change.
Got shit else going on. But I don't wake up every day like, damn, I wonder what the fuck he's doing. I have not thought about him until yesterday when my mom-in-law asked me about it. And I was like, oh. Like, I just went to Riverside last week. Didn't even think to be like, oh yeah, is he coming? Now that would trigger me to think about like, oh, is he gonna come this time? Because I thought for sure in the past couple years it would be in Riverside at a niece or nephew birthday or function or whatever.
Go to those?
That we would pop up and be like, all right, you know what, we're here.
Does he even go without you in the absence?
No.
Oh. So something just...
No, the problem is when he does go, he takes 1,000 pictures, he spreads them shits out like he's Uncle of the Year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't move that way.
Oh.
So yeah, if you're talking down on me to other people and those other people know me, I would like to think they'd be like, nah, he's not really like that, but all right, you got it. It's just, I try to be pretty objective with the things going on. It's just, I don't care enough. If I'm living rent free in their head, that's on them.
I guess the question is, would you want a better relationship with him, or you don't necessarily care because at this point, what does it matter to me?
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say no. It's just...
I feel like everything that I ask you and throwing at you brings you back to being part of the problem. Not 100%.
I'm not saying...
80, but it may be about 25%.
Why would anybody say no to that question when it comes to anybody? But at the same time, we've never had that relationship. I tried, but we're just completely different people. And so, we don't really bond on a bunch of other shit other than trauma of being in that house. But even then we see that kind of two different ways. He doesn't... I've made the efforts. This is why I can go to sleep peacefully at night, because I know I put in the work on my side, and I'm also in a place in my life to where if somebody falls off, I already don't have the time and bandwidth to catch up with the people that I rock with all the time. So if someone falls off, I don't really notice it.
Yeah, but that's crazy to put your family in that category.
But you got to understand,
especially someone you live with.
But we've never been that close.
But then again, I guess I'm being hypocritical.
It doesn't mean...
Because there's about 2 people that I can think of right now offhand where I didn't even invite that person to the wedding.
It doesn't mean he can't come to my wedding.
Right.
Like, you're my brother. If you want to have... We can have this conversation at any given time, and I'm not going to feel no type of way about it. I mean, depending on what you're saying... Because at the end of the day, you the one that chose up. You the one that's moving funny. Because this said situation that set this whole thing off is all because you know one side of a story and you refused to hear. Because when all that shit happened, he was on the phone while it was happening, and so. Right after it happened, she tried to call him right away to be like, yo, I don't know what she was talking about. I heard some of it. This is how it went down. And he was dubbing her. Send a voicemail. And I didn't find that out until a little later. After he sent me the little text message at 4 a.m. And so I'm like, all right, at this point, he's not going to understand the situation because he don't have no family to hold down. He don't have no girl. He don't have nothing. So he's not going to see it for anything other than what it is. And the funny thing is, like, you know, mom. And you don't think to take what she says with a grain of salt and maybe ask some questions or get the other side. So if that's how you feel, then go ahead and feel that way. I'm not going to stress or just, I need to tell you this shit. This is how it really happened. Because if you don't care, then I'm not going to sit here and stress over trying to get you this information. And if you fall back and do whatever you're doing, I know you probably got some shit going on in your life too. You never know what people going through. But I ain't got time.
But he's still invited.
Sure.
All right. I think I agree with the girl, but the only part is the money piece. Like, if you didn't want your brothers or your siblings there or whatever, you should be able to hold off your own shit than if you can control that.
100%.
Because you can't control other actions. So
if you're going to have a rule like that, especially if it's excluding family or someone that should be there, then it's got to be.
Because, like in this situation, different from, like, what I'm asking you is that you're not dependent on your mother to do things for you.
Nope.
Right? So, therefore, you can dictate and be your own person about that and set your own expectations and boundaries.
That, you know, I might be unlocking something else too. But when you just said that, that's probably when you said I don't ask for help. It probably stems from that, from being in that house. It's like, nah, I ain't never asking for shit, because the first time something comes up, it's gonna be held over me. So that's why I don't be asking for nobody.
I feel you on that.
And
that's a male thing too. It is. A lot of the men that we conversate with are alpha masculine men. That like to get it out the mud, you know, or say that hey, we did X, Y, and Z, right? Like when we talk about your man D, who's in there, I ain't gonna say his full stuff in there, but your man D, who's pretty funny, and we got mutual friends, you know what I'm talking about now, right? His wife helped him get the job that he's at right now, but he won't speak on that. You get what I'm saying? Like a matter of fact, his wife helped another one of your friends, I think, get a job too. And, like, they don't speak on that. It's almost like, yo, I had everything that I needed to get to this position in the first place. Therefore, you just being here, like, catapulted me, right? Even me right now, right? When I look at where I work at, right? And the fact that I'm a boss now, someone allowed me to have that opportunity, right? But then again, I'm going to go off of, like, the shit that I did or whatever to get me there. Like, I don't never want somebody to say they did something for me, especially not in public, because it makes me feel vulnerable and weak.
I don't know if it's that.
That's an ego thing, bro.
I don't know if it's ego for me. I get uncomfortable when people do shit for me. When people buy things for me. I don't know if it's an ego thing. I just I think it has something to do with, like, minimalism and some other shit, but I would like to think I don't have that big of an ego.
But there's an especially with them. You get what I'm saying? Like, you might be right, but there's a look. I don't really like nobody to do nothing for me, but especially not y'all. You know what I mean? Oh, we're breaking shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just and I'm always first to lend the helping hand.
To say, like, hey, I'm
not
the
even
plug.
just say it, just so you know it.
You see what I mean?
When it comes to them,
you love robbing other people with that opportunity.
No. When it comes to them, just so you be like, all right, you know what? Just in case I am in a jam and I do have to break down and ask you for something, it's not because of pride. It's just because you guys like to weaponize shit, and I don't want to deal with it being weaponized.
I was talking to that with Adele this morning because she was like, you know, a friend of yours, he got engaged or whatever. I was like, yeah, and I was like, you know, I'm happy for him, you know. And she was like, you know, why is he a little different? I was like, he wasn't always like that, but I was like, he won't admit it because we argue all the time, right? But he likes to weaponize things against people. And when he succumbed to the type of criteria that some of us have fallen into when it comes to selected women at our age, he don't want to talk about it because it's like, yo, I used that against people previously before and I've kind of fell for that. Me being an older adult, it's like, look, bro, like, love whoever you want to love, bro. Like, you don't have to, like, you know, shy away from, like, who you truly are or whatever, or what you like. Like, people change. Like, whatever you were looking for in a woman at 25, 22 when we was running around hanging out, it could be completely different at 33, 34, you know, and it is, you know. So it's like, people who weaponize things, I find them to be, you know, very seclusive. Like, they're secluded. Seclusive, I don't even know if that's a word. Secluded. So, yeah. Hit my hand class. We ain't gotta jump. I didn't think we was gonna go there. Somebody gonna be like, hey, last episode, it's really good. It's good we got them to open up. Yeah, you gotta go to the notes. It's on you.
Take it too dark. I could have went a little further. Feel like it's about that time in the episode.
Fun facts. Go ahead, ring them off.
Nina Keneally has established a business in New York City, renting out her services as a mother. I was like, oh, you know what? She'll listen to you talk about your problems, make you some soup, watch a movie with you. Prospective clients contact Keneally through her website. They chat over email before deciding if they want to meet up for some maternal bonding. All right.
So the story of this is that this woman moved to New York. I believe it's in Brooklyn, right? She moved
of course it
is. Yeah. Bed-Stuy, baby. She moved to Brooklyn, New York, and she, was a mother figure in her community. And at some point, somebody probably said, hey, look, man, you could probably start charging for the advice and stuff like that and the services that you're giving. So she started this business where you can rent a mom.
It sounds like I don't want to go to school to be a therapist.
Right.
But I can still get my shit off if I just do it this other way.
Well, it's also inappropriate for your therapist to cuddle with you and watch a movie or make you chicken noodle soup and shit like that as a mom. Cuddling with your mom
is crazy.
You said what?
Cuddling with your mom is crazy.
There's women that do that. You never seen, like, come on, they got a whole TLC show about these type of
people?
Grown-ass people where, like, they mom still dictate, like, a lot of their decisions.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just cuddling.
Smothered. That's the name of it.
Smothered. Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah. Smothered. Where, like, people, like, bro, you think this is crazy? There was a dude ballroom dancing with his mom.
No, that's fine. Go take a dance class with your mom. I'm just talking about being on the couch, physically cuddling.
Bro, they wear matching pajamas and shit, like big ass onesies. Like, I'm telling you, there's people like this in the world, man.
Corey going with me?
Yeah, that's fine if you want her to go with you.
Yeah, she wants to.
All right, we recorded right there.
Killer.
But
you okay to give her something to eat? She says she's hungry.
Yeah, she ain't eat. That's fine. I sound crazy for admitting that on here, huh? Look what I do for content.
We pod before we feed the children.
But it's smothered and stuff like that, right? Like they have these weird relationships, right? I'm not saying I agree with it because I find it weird to find, like, there are like women, like older women that be like, oh, you like a son to me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool and all, but I got a mom. You know what I mean? Like I don't want you to think that you going to yield some advice to me or whatever. And I'm about to just take it, or I'm about to run to you when I have a question about something. You not like, you know what I'm saying? You have women that come up to you, older women that say, oh, you like a son to me.
Yes.
But do you feel like a son to them specifically? More than your relationship with your mother? Now, this is very interesting. I know.
Here it comes.
Yeah. Here it comes. It's crazy. Oh, that's it. We found it. It took an hour and 20, but we here.
I mean, I've been blessed to know a lot of the same people in my life long enough to where I usually call their parents mom and dad as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to think a few of them do be like, oh yeah, that, like Jonathan's family, they introduced me as, this is our other son.
Right, but then what mother figure in your life would you say that you have the most contact with and you yield their advice? Which woman in your life? If it isn't your mother.
I mean, I think just all the same, depending on what I'm seeing. Like, I listen to...
It just depends on where you're physically at and where the conversation flows through?
Yeah, like... I can call Jonathan's mom. I can call aunties. I can call... I'm sure if I called your mom, she'd pick up all the damn DMs she sent.
But you don't, though, because that other part of your personality is you not reaching out for that. Like, I don't need no help. I'll figure this out mentally.
I hung out half the day with my mother-in-law yesterday. But that was, just talk. Like, I don't want to say it's advice and stuff like that. Yeah. And that might be a thing, too. I don't really ask... I don't... Maybe this is just a thing. I don't really seek advice, I guess. Motherly advice.
You think that's an issue?
I don't know. I'll ask on Monday.
Oh, you going back? So you are doubling back?
No, I gotta see what that credit card statement here for.
All right, get the next one on. He ready? Look at you. Ain't used to leading. Man, started to stretch his arms out.
In 2015, Godzilla became a citizen. I think I might have heard that.
That's kind of crazy, but I think they do it for like entertainment purposes. So the city that they use for Godzilla or whatever, in the movies or whatever, I think it's an actual real place. And so that place specifically added Godzilla as like an actual citizen to guard and protect the city, which that's not what he initially came there for. But
when you hear something like that as a black man, how do you feel? Man, they just giving everybody citizenship, and we
no, we good. Now, if I was like Sudanese person or something coming over from Ghana, or like coming over like somebody that's like from Ghana or something, like, oh, they just letting everybody in. But I mean, that's Japan. Japan's a little different, bro, in how they run things. So I'm not mad at Japan, bro. Like, you go ahead and do what you got to do. I just think it's kind of crazy to name a fictional character as a citizen, yes. But, yeah.
Here's some. Battery health and how much charge is left is really just an estimation based on observation. It is not like a fuel tank where there's a physical means to determine how much fuel there is. Your phone could say 1%, but actually have 1.4%.
Now, to me, there was so much simplicity in that, but I always wondered why my phone lasted longer on 1% than it did anything else, and that's because that 1% is an estimate.
But the thing about the fuel thing, and I did this last week, and I was like, oh, I'm pushing it. So sometimes I'll plan my
gases are in
my
fuel
gas,
too. Yeah. But there's gases. I mean, gases within the gas.
So I had like no gas in the tank, but I'm like, well, I'm going to Costco tomorrow. Don't need to go twice. I'm just go fuel up and then go to Costco. And then, because I came back when I came back from Riverside, and then my tank has the tank that tells you how many miles you got left.
Right.
And that shit said like 6.
Oh,
which is fine because Costco's right there.
Yeah, you take it in a literal sense though.
But then the next day, little wrench thrown in the plans. Hey, we got a baby shower to go to. Damn. Where's this baby shower at? Over there on the other side of East Lake. That's not bad, but I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Hills.
But I'm gonna do it anyway. Because I really don't want to go to Costco twice.
Yeah. Went
to the baby shower. Had like 2. No, I think it had like 9. As soon as I turn the car on, it want to go from 9 to 8. I'm like, man, I ain't even move yet. Hate that shit. I think when I got to the baby shower, I had 6. That last 6 went
real fast.
And I drove on 0 for at least 2 or 3 miles.
Oh.
Just being real, I was feeling risky, like I had time today.
But you was a little nervous, huh?
I was nervous.
Yeah, that light feeling. Yeah. But you still feel light in the seat when you nervous, hands shaking.
Like if I get up a little bit, I can go a little faster and just maneuver out. But
which is all just an hour of inconvenience of your day. You can take an Uber, go get a gas tank, but it's like I don't even want to go through all that.
But I was gonna push it.
Yeah.
So I found out last Sunday that 0 ain't really 0.
That ain't 0, but you gonna keep pushing it on 0?
No. It just happened to be like that.
That's risky because even on 1%, I'd still go get a charger. Like now, I just not gonna let my shit shut. Sometimes I'll let it shut off. But that's when I'm in the house within reach of a charger.
Nah, I remember last time my phone died like that.
Yeah. But even in the Tesla, they do that. Like, it'll say, like, 74% when you get to this destination or whatever. But it'd be like 74.5. And that shit's 75%. I'll go ahead and take those. And don't give them that. Look, let me show. You know what? Nah, let me tell you something funny. Your boy Alex, open the door so you can hear what I'm about to say before I put this on the thing, because I've been releasing your boy Alex, when he eats sunflower seeds, he eat the whole seed still. So what my joke is that, hey, don't show these to him because he probably eat the whole peanut by not even crack it open. Yeah, you don't touch these again. I don't want no bad luck on it. Y'all got swept by the Phillies. What's the next one?
Men have nipples because nipples develop in the womb before embryos become distinctly male or female.
You could have been a woman. Alexa would have been here.
We all could have been women.
Absolutely. I thought that was interesting. So, if anybody wants to talk about masculine and not being masculine, biologically wise, we all are born with some feminine traits. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go Pride.
1810, the first mechanical shower
was made.
1880 pool chain toilet.
That was the first pool. All right, now there's a story with that. I know.
I don't know.
So the first mechanical shower was made in 1880, right? Or in the 1800s. Let's just say that. And then the first pool chain toilet. So when you pull the bowl off your toilet, it's got the little chain in there. That was the first one. Now you wonder, why did I even get there? I went down a whole plumbing like fucking thing. I wanted to know how plumbing works in a house. Think about how many houses there are like in a square mile, like in the city, right? And then they do construction. They bring them big ass pipes in. They put them in the floor. And I'm like, well, where does it go? Then I start looking at the houses on Mission Valley again. Where does all they sewage and shit go? The reason why I got here is because last week we had a plumber come. I mean, we didn't have a plumber. We had an appliance guy come through, and he was telling me like, "Yo, the little water thing in your washing machine is broke, like the cold water valve." So like we were noticing some of the clothes were still wet. Still ain't got it fixed yet because my man that I go to, he does everything. He didn't change all the parts out trying to save me some money. But I was like, bro, just go ahead and change it. It's cool. But he told me that the work was $400.
That'll get you going down the rabbit hole.
And I said, yo, at that price, I might as well buy a new washer. Or I got to find somewhere that does cheaper labor because the labor on that was kind of wild. That's only what the part is the part. Like you're going to pay the price on the part generally. My guy went to another guy. Part was still around the same price that they were quoting me. So that's the price, right? So I'm just only going to cut money in labor. So I go down a rabbit hole after that because I'm like, where's the water lead to? And I was like, yo, why do plumbers and all these guys, they show you a little part, like a specialty part. I know the machines that they use to weld it at the prices that they're charging you has already been paid for, right? My man told me that his friend is a welder and he makes 6 figures a year. And I'm like, yo, I'm in the wrong job then. I could be out here manipulating metal. I seen a dude that cleans rain gutters for $400 a house. He said, all you got to do is not be afraid of heights. He was like, I do about 3 houses in a day. I made $1,200. He's like, and I only do that for like 6 hours. He's like, I got time to go to the gym, hang out with my kids. So I was like, yo, I just got down this whole plumbing, like water and all that. Remember, I put that in the group chat, right? It was random. It was that time, though. So the first toilets, like sewage systems and stuff like that, like in the 1300s, 1200s, I think it was the Roman Empire that had their first like sewage system. What they did was like dig canals for that shit to like flow out of people's like houses or like the buildings that they were staying in or huts. But the shit, like it's waste. Like you just got it out in the street. People started getting sick. Somebody got smart enough one day and was like, all right, let's have this shit lead to the river. That's a good place for it to go. Right.
Our drinking water.
Yeah. This is what I've been trying to tell people. Humans been dumb for a long ass time. So until a few people, until it was about 10,000 people in Europe, got sick because this is over time, right? 10,000 people got sick. Then it was like, yo, we got to treat the water. I found out that the water that we use, like in our bathtubs and stuff like that, go right back into the lakes of which they came from or the water sources that they came from. They go filter that shit, clean it out a little bit. So I'm showering in old, like in like somebody's old shower water from before. When you drink out the sink, you drink it out of somebody's old bath water that they've treated the water before. So that shit got me, right? And then I was thinking about toilets. I was like, yo, like toilets aren't mechanical. I mean, they're not like electrified or anything like that. They do that shit off of water pressure. And then like to flush a toilet it's like a
10 gallons of water?
No, it's like 2 gallons. Like that whole bowl is 6 liters, like behind it. So like when you flush a toilet, the way that they're made, whoever came up with this shit was ingenious. Because the water from the bowl rushes in, it goes into the little holes or whatever that are on the side, right? And then it goes to the bowl, and all it is just pushing water through that little tube.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Didn't know that. That sounds crazy, right? In elementary, but some people don't know things like that. So I like to acquire knowledge on things because if somebody hits me with a ridiculous price, I need to know why. So, that's all I had.
Sometimes they charge that because it's like, because I can, because y'all don't know no better.
Right.
And when it comes to plumbing and electricity, those are the two things that can hit you with, because those are things like you can't really just do that shit yourself.
No.
Because it's not like you need the people out there with the certifications or won't like count like towards your house. But yeah, that last year had like all 4 of my toilets broke at the same time on the same way. I was like, nah. Quick little 10-minute video. I was like, I can do this. And the part was like $8 each.
He did it?
Yeah. Fixed them all in like 45 minutes.
See?
Now, that wasn't that serious of a plumbing issue.
Yeah, like some shit I'm just not the wall and shit like that.
No, I ain't doing none of that. I'm just had to get banged over the head.
Yeah, that's the one. Because like some of that shit too, if you mess it up, like some of the things that I were reading is like say if you had like an air leak, like that, the smell can go through your house, and there's ways that they could find it. I'm like, yeah, we doing too much at that rate.
But I'll figure out what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Good old plumbing.
I think there's like a couple more. One of them I really want you to get off. No, there's another one.
All right, here.
All right, one that I found in there. I know it off the top of my head. On average, the average person meets about 80,000 people in their lifetime. Whether it's shaking hands, whether it's actually getting to know them, telling them your name in front of an audience or whatever. Like the average person meets about 80,000 people. So in my brain, I was like, yo, like sometimes I'd be forgetting people's names.
Oh, I'm really bad at that.
Like I'm getting really bad now too. Even now, like I'd be like, yo, what's that? Like the name of that. Like I still can't remember that Brendan Fraser movie where like he's selling his soul to the devil to try to get with this girl.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name earlier either.
No, and now it's helping me remember what you're talking about.
About the sunsets and shit, and he was crying, and then his name was Elliot, and she's like, Elliot, you're so damn sensitive. And he's like, oh, there goes another sunset. And then the little jock dude came up and was throwing sand on him. He's like, can we have some dolphin safe tuna?
We don't need the whole plot of the movie.
That was fire, man. I don't know, man. I didn't have cable. I don't know what it is, but when you throw struggle out there, somebody always want to look at you crazy like that. You had cable, fam. Everything was good. But yeah, meeting 80,000 people in a lifetime, that's kind of crazy. I feel like I might be at 20.
20?
Think about it. Every kid that you met in elementary school, right? You don't remember every kid in your class, right? Every kid you met in middle school, every kid in high school, every person that you had to talk to in college, you know what I mean? Work, all the jobs that you're at, you're meeting people there. Like you've probably met about 30 to 40,000 people.
If the average person does 80, I think you should be a little higher by now.
Yeah, especially in my line of work. Yours too. And because we're not even talking about just face-to-face meet. You can meet somebody over the phone. And they tell you a little about yourself. And part of that, like, I started, now that we're talking about this is probably why we have a lot of ADHD and ADD. It's hard to focus on, like, hyper-focus on some of these things. Think about it. Before cell phones, before airplanes, before just communicating with the other side of the world in an instance, like, you wouldn't be able to meet people in that type of fashion. Like, I could sit here and have a conversation with somebody at work that's in Orange County or whatever on some meeting shit and know what's going on with them and specifically in their workplace. You know, same thing in San Francisco or whatever. Like we meet a lot of people. So, like, when I think about, like my lack of ability to focus is maybe because, like, I have to compute so much information all the time. You know, and over time, I've collected a lot of data. Like, the human body and the human brain is a crazy thing. Like, it's almost like deep sea that we were talking about. We are probably yet to scratch the surface on how things actually work.
Yeah, because we overconsume. There's too much content, too much everything. And I don't know if that's helping the case for ADHD, if it's creating it, or it was created because this is how we function. Yeah,
because I never heard of this, like, in history books and texts and shit like that, people describing that. Like I be asking myself, like, what did a schizophrenic look like in the 1400s? You probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference because we was all acting so crazy.
No, I was probably looked at as like witchcraft and shit. Like, oh, this guy got to go.
I've had enough of his shit.
Yeah, because if you don't know the information, then they look at certain things like diseases that really weren't. You know, we brought up the fact that in 1885 or whatever, Coca-Cola came out, it was first marketed as medicine.
Right.
When it does the exact opposite. Fucking
fries you.
Yeah, just the way, you know, more information leads to more. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought because of that. Because of said ADHD. Started in the 80s, man. 80s babies.
That was the time we were all taking that pain medication and stuff like that. Started becoming a thing, managing pain. I'm like, yo, these are just like life things that people dealt with for a long ass time. But I know when you start stretching and readjusting, it's time to go. So let's get out of here. I know how you do. You can do two. You can do two with Jonah. Easy.
I can do two right now. You the one that's running out of shit to say.
Listen to that episode, man.
Running out of shit to say.
I'm trying to burn through Joe right now so I can listen to whatever you and Jonah was talking about.